Pauline and Philip McKernan here. Sounds very official.
I'm glad I got it mentioned.
Yeah, you got it, absolutely. Yeah. So we're here to do another Q&A, and in case you're wondering, do we have any other clothes? The answer is no, things are tough. And so we're basically just using the same clothes. This is actually a week later, we haven't changed. No, we decided to do another video back to back. So let's get going.
Okay, great. So the first question today is from Laurie G. I recently saw a video of your presentation at Awesomeness Fest and realised how far away from myself I've become. I'm 64 now and I've had a fairly difficult life, but I'm okay with most of that, I think. I believe that revisiting some of the toughest times is counterproductive, though I sense you wouldn't agree with that. I'm a creative thinker but have lost any sense of self-confidence, though I don't believe I ever had much. My question was going to be how to start some practice to work on that. There's more as well.
Okay, so let's just slow it down a second. Okay. So the one challenge with this individual, Laurie, yeah. Laurie is, Laurie, you have the challenge.
Sorry, Laurie. Yeah.
Laurie, excuse me. You have the challenge and you have the answer. So you're presenting a challenge and you're giving us the answer. You're presenting a challenge, you're giving us the answer, and you're presenting a challenge and giving us the answer. And what I'd love you to be is open to the fact that you have absolutely no idea what the answer is. That, you know, you probably struggle reaching out and asking for help. Okay, this is just, I'm just assuming. Okay, so I haven't read these questions. I have to make my best, not guess, but like try and be as intuitive as I can in relation to these questions. But I'd say that you're somebody who really lives in their head a lot, struggles, lives up there, maybe bounces in between it. Somebody who's pretty well educated from an academic standpoint, and therefore that causes part of the problem. I'm not saying academia is completely negative, even though it has challenges, but ultimately you're already answering your question. So when you're answering your question and you feel the need to answer your question, your own question, are you really open to what you don't know? And my answer to that question is no, you're not. You can't be. So please continue.
Okay. Funny thing is that I have a master's degree in industrial design from RISD, so there's friction between what I deserve and what I want. Can you explain that for me, will you?
What she deserves and what she wants. Yeah. I mean, her confidence is shot. Through your own admission. So you're 64?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, interesting that you mentioned your age. Okay, so people who mention their age obviously feel there's an issue with their age. People don't say, oh, I'm 28 and typically 28 and I'm not achieving a whole lot in my life. It's typically I'm 64, I'm 74, I'm 84. I haven't achieved enough in my life. I'm not achieving enough in my life. So our fear of age and getting old is not necessarily the age. It's often that we're not living. We're not living today is often the problem with age. So you've had a challenging past. You don't believe in readdressing it and going back into the past, which you've already decided that. You don't have the confidence. It's now coming back to haunt you. So basically what I see is somebody who basically is to some extent trapped by your past. In other words, what you've experienced in the past has determined how you fundamentally feel about yourself at the core, not think. So you intellectually have ideas and concept of what you want, but there's a conflict and therefore a sabotage and a not worth it feeling. And that comes from your self-confidence. That comes from your self-worth. Your self-worth is determined on the life that you've lived, the experiences that you've had, the people that you've met, the things that have been done to you, the things you've done to other people. So all I would say, this might sound really rude and condescending, is if you don't want to deal with your past, good luck. Because it hasn't worked for you to date, and it's not going to work for you in the future. Your past is an integral part of who you are, and by understanding your past, by leaning into your past, and not obsessing about it, not staying there, but leaning into it, you become incredibly aware of how you've become who you are today, because it's formed who you are today. And therefore, it can equip you with the vision for the future that you want to create, and it can also start changing that needle and shifting that needle internally about value. Because I can tell you one thing, when you walk this earth not feeling great about yourself and not having a great value, which is often not consciously, we're not consciously aware, it's subconscious, we will go out into the world and we will seek to validate how we feel about ourselves. So if I tell myself I'm a good person, but I don't feel it, I'm going to go out into the world and every day I'm like a beacon, I'm like a radar, and I'm seeking out ways to validate how I feel about myself. And that's where sabotage comes in. So my strong recommendation is, despite what you think about this, you must deal with some of those conversations, those things in the closet, those things that you've refused to deal with in the past, or have chosen not to deal with, or have temporarily dealt with them. and revisit those, because they will give you tremendous clarity about the life that you live, and ultimately remove some of the blocks about the life that you want to live. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm not rambling. I'm just on a thought process here. So hopefully that helps.
Well, I hope you take action around that, and good luck with that. So next is another Laurie Orr. I help nurses who hate their jobs create freelance projects that people will pay for. They do freelance work instead of working so much in a clinical setting, which makes them happier. I hear so much about passion and purpose when creating work you love, but when first starting out, is one more important than the other? If so, which? So which is more important, passion or purpose?
So is this the question for you, or is it a question for the people that you're helping? And I'll just assume it's either or. I don't differentiate between passion and purpose. To me, it's just you lean into what you love doing, and whether it's passion, whether it's purpose, I think it's just we're splitting hairs in relation to passion and purpose. I think passion is almost at a point where it's saturated. People are becoming almost numb to the world. The conversation around passion, people think it's unattainable. I think everyone likes the idea in theory. A lot of people don't understand what passion is. I think passion has become such an everyday word, and we've lost the power of passion. We've lost the power of that word, passion. Passion. Think about the word. Think about how you would say it. It's almost like, we've become passionate about chocolate and about coffee and about wine and about everything. And it's not to say we can't be about the background of it and everything else, but passion is just a word we use flippantly now. Passion is something that absolutely ignites you, gets you up in the morning, makes you alive, makes aliveness. So I don't separate the two at all. I don't break down purpose and passion. To me, is if you're doing something that you're passionate, you're on purpose with, it's all the same thing. You feel alive, you feel energetic, you feel engaged. Not all of the time. Am I passionate about what I do? I mean, you can decide that for yourself. I think you can call bullshit on somebody that tells you they're passionate about something, keeps telling you they're passionate about something, really illustrates to me there's an insecurity around that passion, that they're not really that passionate about it. But it's I don't differentiate. One's not ahead of the other. It's all the same thing. Do what you love, and do more of what you love. And if you want to monetize what you love, well, that's the ultimate holy grail, some would say. But that's my answer to that.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Laurie. Okay, next question is from Kelly A. I don't seem to have the energy to find a partner, even though part of me would love to experience a soulful relationship. I don't have a problem attracting men who drink too much, have partners, are unavailable until further notice as they are busy in their healing work, or men who are physically unattractive to me, even though I love other parts of them. Am I attracting the wrong men on purpose because a hidden part is too picky? Do I have a man block, or am I turning into a nun after devoting my life to serving, building and creating for way too long without smelling the roses enough?
Okay, so there's a lot of things I can do. So it'll be
Thanks, Kelly.
Sounds like an interesting nun.
Sounds like a fun nun.
It sounds like a hell of a lot of fun nun. But is there space for anybody to come into your life? Is there actually space? There's two things that come out of this really strongly for me. Is, do you actually want a partner? Because you're not saying you want a partner. You're saying you don't have energy, and you're saying that you might have some blocks, but you're not actually saying, I want a partner. I want someone to share this world with me.
Just on that, she says part of me would love to experience a soulful relationship.
Yeah. So basically, it's a safety mechanism as well, potentially. I'm not saying it is for this particular lady, but it's like if you don't say you want something completely and it doesn't show, well, then you haven't failed. Well, I never really wanted a partner, so it never really happened. But if we because you're probably very good at achieving certain aspects of things, and you're probably very, very good, but this is an area that's eluded you and has frustrated you and you can't control. Because you can't control another person's spirit or heart or mind or whatever. We can attempt to, but we can't. So do you really want, I'd love to hear you saying, I want a relationship, or I don't want a relationship, either or, number one. Number two is there space? Because you're devoted your life to, what was the term? Devoted your life to helping.
Serving, building and creating.
Serving, building, creating other people's lives, her life.
Don't know.
Okay.
For way too long, we don't.
So basically, is there space? It sounds like there may not be a whole lot of space necessarily in your life for someone to actually come in. And then the final piece is that when it comes to people who are single, they often believe that it's something external that's going to make them happy or happier. And in the case of relationships, we often think that at some level, I'm never going to be fully happy until I have somebody in my life. And I believe that train of thought is dangerous. I think it's unhealthy because you're relying on somebody else to support, manifest, or solidify your happiness. And I think if you can become better in your own skin, then another person can help and can elevate that to some extent. But you're not reliant on that. In other words, you're not sitting there going, deep down, I'm really kind of destined to be miserable and unhappy if I don't find somebody. But I would wonder, it sounds to me, I would say, and I'm guessing obviously to some extent, not just intuitively or intellectually, but slightly more intuitively, that you're very busy. You're a very busy person. And I would wonder what it would be like for you just to turn it off for a day, 2 days, a week, or a month, and stop. And just be silent and see what comes up from you. Comes up for you in terms of, are you really comfortable in your own skin? Because often what drives us deep down is how, as I said earlier on, how we feel about ourselves. Do I deserve a meaningful relationship with a man or a woman who is a good person, who I find attractive, etc., etc.? Do I actually deserve that? Or am I attracting the people that I feel I deserve in my life? That's something for you to really consider.
Okay, great.
One more?
Okay, we can do
We've done
one
3,
more.
have we?
We've done 3 now, yeah.
Is there another one there, a quick one we can do?
I'm not sure it'll be quick, but here we go.
Okay.
So from Mike S. I'm wondering if you have any actual life-altering tactics for social anxiety and the side effects that come with that. Being the centre of attention or being singled out in a group are very uncomfortable for me for some reason. The reason I say actual life-altering is that most of the tips and strategies over the years, like hypnosis, etc., have had zero effect, or others involve pharmaceuticals. No thanks. Note, the side effects for everyone are different. Mine are feeling pressure, claustrophobic, and a huge fight or flight response, which lead to blushing and sweating on the physical symptom side of things. Okay, so this is someone who suffers from social anxiety.
Social anxiety. Just go back to the first part of the email or whatever.
I'm wondering if you have any actual life-altering tactics for social anxiety and the side effects that come with that. Being the centre of attention or being singled out in a group are very uncomfortable for me for some reason.
Okay, so this man?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike, you're looking for a silver bullet. It sounds like you've been looking for a silver bullet. You're looking for a life-altering?
Yeah, life-altering tactics.
Doesn't work, doesn't happen. And the things that you've been doing sound like you're looking for that life-altering tactic. They may be marketed like that. I can send you a blue M&M. I can send you a silver bullet. Or I can make you an empty promise, so when you buy one of my programs, you'll achieve that. None of which are going to work, by the way, when you're positioned like that. You're looking for a life-altering strategy concept, which does not exist in my personal opinion. You need to move the dial, because when you shift like that, there's a 99.9% chance it'll shift back the other way. Not just back to where it was, but even further back. You feel like a failure, and then it just all goes into this big cycle of repeating bullshit, basically. What you need to get to the core of is, why do you feel anxiety? Okay, why do you feel anxiety? Where did it start? How did it come into your life? What not necessarily what triggers it, but where does it, what's its origins? Back into your story, back to when you were 6, back to when you were 2, back to whenever it was, and start to understand, really dig into where this actually came from, because you weren't born with anxiety. Okay, and then people may disagree with that. Quite frankly, I don't care. You weren't born with anxiety. You didn't wake up, come out of your room and have anxiety. Okay, you don't inherit anxiety, despite what people might tell you. It's something that has been created within you. It's something that you feel is a part of you right now. You're looking for ways to deal with, and live with it. I'm looking for ways to actually let it go more and more and more, to kind of for it to loosen its grip on you, is a term I often use when it comes to fear, or anxieties, or worries. The more you know about it, the more you'll understand it. And I don't mean here, but you need to let it go. So other than that, there's a guy called Barry McDonough, who basically is based out of Ireland. Panic Away is his concept. Again, with respect, I've never used it. I don't know anything about it, other than I know Barry, and I like Barry a lot. I don't make recommendations online or in videos like this, as you know, but this is one I will make recommendation to, because I really respect and like Barry. But other than that, check out his work or his program, but really, really, really take a step back and say, okay, where does this come from? And forget trying to control it or eradicate it. look for some sort of magic pill. And I think that would be very, very useful for you. So we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks everyone for the questions.
Do you like doing this?
Yeah, I like and to enjoy it.
Are you just saying that because people are watching, or?
No, I do like it. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do one on your own?
No.
Okay, guys.
I'm just asking the questions.
Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, thanks very much, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.